Hi, everybody. Louise Eddington here, Cosmic Owl Astrology, and I am here with the week ahead forecast. So, if you're into astrology that tells the truth, weaves the myths, and gives you soul deep clarity for navigating wild times, make sure you're subscribed and hit that bell so you get notified when I upload new content. So, other reminders, my book, Series in Astrology, Nourishment, Power, and the Rebirth of the Feminine, is almost here, but you can pre-order a signed copy now at sacredthreadsimprint.com. And I'll put that link below. They will arrive here on July the 21st, I believe, and I will start sending them out as soon as possible after that. But the actual publication date is August the 12th, where you can buy from other places, other booksellers. And if you love these videos, please come join the Spiral Weave, or if you like my daily writing on Substack, so you can join either here on YouTube or Substack. Probably better on Substack, really. But you get monthly bonus threads, and Ask Me Anything call, and more magic. Now let's dive into yet another intense week. But first, I pulled 3 reversed cards, a major sign that we're in inner collapse and outer transformation. I'll do a full reading later, but I pulled 5 of discs. I am suffering. Where are we collapsing? The stories of scarcity. That's a hint for you. The next one was reversed King of Blades. I am self-assured, but are we or are you? And there's a full reading with advice at the end. And lastly, I pulled the Goddess of Snakes. And as I pulled this, I actually realized a little error in this deck. The picture in the book does not match this, but this is the right card for this deck because it has the threads on the back, the spiral. But anyway, it doesn't matter. This is the snake. So this is the reversal of deep embodiment. So again, stick around for the end where I give you the full reading for the cards and a summary for the week. So let me dive in. I'll just get my software up, which I forgot to do. Oh, blimey. I just had somebody pick me up on my Substack for writing 13 instead of 12 for tomorrow's date. Honestly, people, if that's all you take from my writing, I really kind of don't know what to say sometimes. You know, we all make mistakes, and you know, I produce so much content. I've got so much going on, and Uranus is opposing my Mercury. By the way, I'm having fun with these AI Zoom backgrounds just for fun. This is kind of Eris here, just to give you an idea of the week with a Capitol building in the background. And sometimes they're really wonky, but I got pulled up for using art, so I started using AI. Anyway, so the week ahead. Let's start with Sunday, the 13th. I've called this day Saturn Days Back. Saturn turns back because, oh, I've got far too many extras here. Bear with me. I'm just going to take some out. I was doing some research, and this is really going to confuse matters if I leave all this in. So we cannot use all the extras all the time, much as I would love to. I use them as they speak to me, really. So there we go. That's better. There's my favorite extras. Okay. So Saturn stations retrograde. First thing, early on Sunday, actually at oh, I can't remember what time, but it doesn't matter. It was early in the morning. In fact, but we have 2 planets stationing retrograde this week. Neptune was on July the 4th, so only 9 days before this, and Saturn stations retrograde literally as soon as the week starts. Now, Neptune is water, expansion, confusion. Saturn can be walls, hard lessons, things like that. And we've literally seen a lot of flash flooding, including the big tragedy in Texas. But there'll be other things. This is a tide turning thing, but I'll talk more about what it means in a minute. The other aspects I want to talk about briefly are that the Aquarius moon, so we have the moon in Aquarius to start the week pretty much, and that will conjunct Pallas Athena and Chariclo, who I do not have on here. I had all the other extras, but not Chariclo. Sorry about this. Honestly, having Uranus opposing my Mercury is kind of interesting, but there we go, there she is. So the moon will conjoin Chariclo and Pallas Athena as they approach an exact conjunction again, or have they had it? But anyway, the moon will also sextile Eris and Chiron in Aries, and then the moon will go into Pisces for a couple of days and square Uranus in Gemini. So, and the sun will also, the Cancer sun will also make an unbroken flow trine to Centaur Nessus in the sign of Pisces. So we'll look at that as well. And then, yes, Saturn stationing retrograde. So let's start there. Saturn stations retrograde at 1 Aries. This is the fire of accountability turning inward. This is time to reforge your integrity. And especially because it's working with Neptune, both of them are going back into Pisces and activating degrees that were active through March and April and May. And they are really kind of saying, let go of any old blocks and restrictions to you living in your full integrity in physicality and in spirit. So these retrogrades are huge, to be quite honest, because they are traveling together, Saturn and Neptune, pretty much till they meet exactly next year. Aquarius moon conjunct Chariclo and Pallas Athena. That's intuitive strategies emerging from the cauldron, strategies for healing and co-creating this new world we want to live in. Ignore my cat. Then when the moon goes into Pisces, the energy softens, but also dissolves illusions, because the moon immediately squares Uranus in Gemini, which has just moved into Gemini. And this is sudden soul waves, literally very sudden. This is sudden ideas shifting, perceptions shifting, clouds parting, and you will start to see more clearly. And then the sun makes that unbroken flow, trine aspect to Nessus. Ancestral patterns can be released, but only if you're honest about them and face how they show up within you as well. So some keywords for this first day of the week, Sunday the 13th, I'll get the date right. Inner reckoning, ancestral tides, and responsibility reimagined. Okay. Now then, on to Monday, July the 14th. And we have the Pisces moon all day trining Jupiter in Cancer and Vesta in Scorpio, which makes a water grand trine. We have the moon squaring Venus in Gemini and opposing Mars in Virgo. I'll look at those in a minute. That's making a T-square. So we have a water grand trine, then a T-square, and then the Pisces moon makes another water. Oh no, that we've talked about that one. So let's look at the water grand trine first. So here we have the moon in Pisces. The moon in Pisces will come up and make a trine to Jupiter here in Cancer and trine Vesta over here in Scorpio. That's the water grand trine. That's really holy purification and sacred emotion. That's a big swirl of big emotion and cleansing, building on the awarenesses that we got on the first day of the week, probably. Okay. But the moon also squares Venus and opposes Mars, making a T-square. So in fact, let me moon square Venus, because Venus and Mars are heading towards their exact square as well. So the Pisces moon over here will square Venus and oppose Mars, as so it's a wide T-square, but it's activating a Mars Venus square that we'll talk about next week more. This is it can be emotional overreaction, creative tension, and tender truth bombs. So this day really is about emotional cross currents, this sacred waters, emotional friction, and soulful recalibration of both the yin and the yang, or the night and day energy within you as well. But there may be some relationship friction within all of this as well. So on to Tuesday, July the 15th. Fated flow, I've called this day. So the Pisces, we have the moon in Pisces still almost all day, okay, and will conjunct the North Node and then Nessus, which are now moving apart. Even though Nessus is retrograde, the nodes move faster than Nessus, okay. And the moon will also trine the Cancer sun, and I think that's everything. Anyway, so the Pisces moon conjunct Nessus and the North Node first of all. So here we go. So this brings up definite themes of reckoning, like spiritual karmic reckoning, whatever you want to call it, and a destined path. Remembering that we are all in this together. Everything is interconnected, everything. So this moon is really going to activate that. And as that happens, really pretty much the moon trines the Cancer sun right after that, okay? And so that says flow is possible if you trust this intuitive compass. Late at night, the moon will enter Aries, and that will start to ignite the spark of courage. But the themes for this day are real kind of karmic insight, fated emotion, and a new spark rising at the end of the day. Wednesday, July the 16th. I've called this day an emotional earthquake. So moon has moved into Aries, will first conjunct Saturn and Neptune, which of course have both just stationed retrograde, so they're in a potent point, okay? Pallas Athena and Chariklo will be conjunct at 21 degrees 3 minutes Aquarius, so I'll look at that too. And then the Aries moon will square Jupiter in Cancer and Pholus in Capricorn as well, making another T-square. This is almost exact here. So here's Jupiter and Pholus and the moon. So the Pallas, the Aries moon conjunct Saturn and Neptune and then square Jupiter and Pholus. That's a big emotional T-square boom, if you like. Pholus tends to kind of open the lid or take the lid off things. Jupiter expands everything. This is in cardinal signs. Jupiter in Cancer is very emotional and protective and about a basis of security. So whatever you are finding out this week and what is revealed and what revelations you find is likely to bring this bit of a boom, of an emotional boom, inner boom, if you like. So Pallas and Chariklo, though, conjunct in Aquarius. I love this conjunction. This is sacred strategy in community and care. And it's a perfect conjunction to lead into the 17th, which is a huge day and a day where we're going to have good trouble protests nationwide in the USA. So a potent day to break through inherited limitations. We can look at some other themes of it: initiation, pressure, intuitive scaffolding, and repatterning the past. This is really moving into the creation of the new that we are moving into, as long as you are basing it on not only your mind but also your intuitive scaffolding, as I've said. All right, on to the 17th. This is the table overturner. This is kind of what I was trying to get in this picture, right? It's a bit like Jesus turning tables in the temple on this day, I tell you. So we've got the Aries moon all day will come up and conjunct Eris and Chiron. Eris is the table turner in many ways, but we also have the last quarter crisis in consciousness moon. So I'm going to get the this is actually pretty close to the time of the protests, okay, this last quarter moon. So I think last quarter moon is called the crisis in consciousness. Whoa. So anyway, let's pull it all together. So first, the Aries moon conjunct Ceres. First of all, I've neglected to mention my beloved Ceres. Don't forget to buy my book. And trine Mercury in Leo. Remember, I just wrote about this today, that these two are going to trine each other 3 times through Mercury's retrograde. And this is this one, 15 Leo, is a world point. So another turning point as well as the last quarter moon. Okay, so the Aries moon conjunct Ceres, trine Mercury in Leo. This is bold nurturance and truth-telling from the gut about unmet needs and how to meet your needs and how we have to fight to meet our needs. Then we get this last quarter moon conjunct last quarter moon at 25 Aries Cancer, which is, as I said, crisis of consciousness. But the moon conjuncts Eris and Chiron, and the sun squares Eris. So all this is really happening together. This is a good trouble day. You know, it's on the anniversary of John Lewis's death, but an astrologer could have picked this, honestly. There are protests, there will be protests, but there will be clarity and there will be eruptions. But please come from this sense of joyful clarity and peaceful demonstration and celebration, celebrating John Lewis's legacy of good trouble. So this is disruption for justice. It's truth cracking the shell. But if you go into it, I said this on my video with Kathy and she said it too. If you go into these places, and I am actually going to this protest, I've decided I don't really go to many anymore, time, all those things. But I'm going to go dressed up for fun. I'm going to put those sparkles, more of them, back on my face. It disarms anybody who wants to fight against the protests if you do that. Okay. All right. So please, please, please come from that joyful place. Tune into Mercury in Leo. Friday the 18th, after the biggest day of the week, really, July the 17th, and Mercury stations retrograde. So Mercury was stationed retrograde because Mercury stations retrograde really early. So at those protests, Mercury is at a turning point, a standstill. Things are going to really start turning around faster and faster as these planets get moving, right? All these retrogrades. But anyway, Moon enters Taurus as well. Okay. And so Mercury, just one little word about it. Oh, sorry, lost my dates there. Mercury will actually be retrograde until August the 11th at 4 degrees Leo. So Mercury stations. This is a world point retrograde. Your voice and visibility are up for review and reinvention. It's a perfect time to pause the performative, Leo, and return to the truth of your heart. So this is about voice rework, heart reflection, and slowing the shine. This is about saying, how am I speaking up for others and for the world I want to create in the world? World I want to create in the world. You get that? It's evident that fighting against it does not work. Okay, this is why I'm a bit against the word resistance. Good trouble is about working for what we want to see. Okay, because what you resist persists. July the 19th, tensions and earth magic. This is the last day of the week, and I will then look at the cards in full, and then I'm going to give you a general summary of the week. So we still have the moon in the sign of Taurus, there we go, for most of the day, I think all day, in fact. But we have, at this point, the Cancer sun is going to come up and square Chiron, the wounded healer and the key to healing. The Taurus moon is going to trine Mars in Virgo and the South Node as they approach their conjunction on July the 20th. We'll look again at that in next week's forecast. And the moon's trine to that conjunction is activating it for that whole weekend. And then the Taurus moon will square Mercury, still at its station point, and oppose Juno after that, making a fixed T-square with the moon at another world point. So with all these planets being activated that are stationed, July the 19th, there we go. So the Taurus moon, here we go, world point will square Mercury. So let me sum all those aspects up. So the sun squaring Chiron, wounds will arise around belonging, safety and care, but there's also a message there about self-care, about how self-care is priority for you to belong. But then the moon trines Mars and the North Node. And this is huge, to be quite honest, because it carries on into the Sunday when Mars and the South Node meet. This is about deep embodiment and actions aligned with ancestral healing, things we do not want to do anymore. And Virgo South Node is both the past, but it's also what we are healing with the North Node to do more of the Virgo South Node in a higher way, which is service, meaningful service, the right work, you being useful in the world. So, this is really kind of activating that to take action, to change how you do things. So this truth tension is on this day, rooted action and care through courage. All right, those are the keywords for that day. And stick around for the summary. This picture makes me laugh. Some of these AI faces are so wonky, but it's kind of fun still. So 5 of discs reversed. You're not meant to stay collapsed. This is the moment right before you get up again. Let go of the belief that you must do it all alone. Then the King of Blades reversed. Oh, this is a big one. Beware of false authority. Despite your inner critic, don't let fear dress itself up as logic. Good warning there. Now the Goddess of Discs reversed. This is the Snake card in this deck, the Red Threads Tarot. The Snake says, you are shedding a skin you no longer need, but are you trying to hold it together too long? Together, this week's healing isn't comfortable, but it's profound. Collapse isn't failure, it's fertilizer. Let the tables turn and trust your own becoming. Now then, summary. Collapse, courage, and good trouble. This week is a pivot point. All these T-squares, last quarter moon, all these kind of things. And 2 planets stationing retrograde. Saturn stationing retrograde, Mercury stationing retrograde, the moon triggering Eris and Chiron in a fiery last quarter square. We're being asked to revisit our responsibility, rewrite the stories we tell ourselves, and release the pressure to hold it all together. The energy moves from watery overwhelm to fiery confrontation, and then into earthy embodiment. It's a full alchemical cycle. Themes of emotional clarity, ancestral reckoning, karmic release, and fierce truth telling are all at the forefront. And with Mercury beginning its retrograde journey on a world point, we are officially in a collective re-evaluation of what we say, how we shine, and who gets heard. Expect protests, breakdowns, and perspective shifting confrontations, but also expect sacred insight, reclaimed courage, and the beginnings of a new story. This isn't collapse for collapse's sake, it's compost. Let it work through you. What a week again. If this was helpful, please subscribe, like, and share with your fellow Cosmic Rebels. Don't forget to pre-order my book in Series in Astrology from sacredthreadsimprint.com or below. And consider joining the Spiral Weed to go even deeper. Let the collapse be compost. Let the truth be good trouble. You've got this. I will see you next time.